My name is Ivan Le. I'll be moderating today's talk. Uh, so just to give a little bit of introduction, I'm part of the IAB Education Committee, but I'm not the star today. Today, we're really excited to, to have on board two esteemed speakers for us. Um, First, we have Margaret. Margaret, who has been with New Media Group, the head of business in that area. Just to step back a little bit, the last 2 days we talked about digital in different perspectives, whether it be from the agency side of the business on Monday, and we also talked a little bit on from the big data side using analytics. So today we're going to go a little bit more on new media, digital media, how we consume media, how we digest media, how media has evolved as far as the way we publish it, whether it be on websites, whether it be on video. So from there, we're really happy to have Margaret, who's the head of business at New Media Group, who'll be sharing a lot on how media consumption has changed over the years. As well, we're also really delighted to also have Carmen, who is part of YouTube's creator and artist development, who will be sharing with us with the changes with YouTube and how we as consumers utilize YouTube, and also share a little bit on what it's like to be a YouTube content creator as well. So just to give everyone here a little bit of a breakdown, like I said before, media and digital space, there's so many things involved, whether it be as a marketer, you might be looking at consultancy, looking at agencies to help you drive solutions and strategies. Moving towards from those strategies, you need to utilize different types of audience targeting, right? With that said, with so much data in the market, how do we utilize this data and segment and synchronize data through technology, from what we spoke of on Tuesday, whether it be ad technology or with marketing technology, to then utilize different types of media sources to put out those advertisements, and even without advertisements, as the industry or as how we consume media constantly evolves to the digital media. How do we move and work around that and evolve as well to cater to our audiences, and then also in another sense to cater towards our advertising and different types of solutions. So to give a little bit of background, IAB Hong Kong, we're a professional association aiming really to get the most out of the marketing industry and set some industry standards within Hong Kong. One of our key initiatives, like why everyone is here today, is to really bring up the industry and to get more talent into the industry. So we're really excited to have everyone here to learn more about the various parts of the industry. Now, within our group, we have right now over 100 members within our association, ranging from different types of solutions, from, like I said before, like data, like publishers on the client side. We also have different agencies and media players within the mix. So as you're all here, obviously you want to learn a little bit more about our industry. One thing that I spoke of before we started this talk, the best way to learn is to really be a part of the industry and take on an internship and take on an apprenticeship program. So with the talk, what we're striving to do is, if you have any kind of interest or even questions regarding the industry, whether or not it's something for you, the best way to do it is to get into this apprenticeship program. So we would really think after today, after our talk today, to really see or you have the great opportunity to be able to join this program, whether it be an employer such as myself at Aloha over here, or for different big data media companies or client companies like Yuan, like Tamjai, and also with IAB and learning more from that side. So feel welcome to look for more information. You can always speak to Alvina afterwards as well. So without further ado, I want to first introduce here our first speaker. Alvina, I do not. Yep, our first speaker, Margaret, again, head of business at New Media Group. Really excited to have her, as she'll be sharing a lot about. She has really great experience from both the agency side of the business as well as, of course, from the media side. And I think one great topic she'll be sharing is just how media has changed and how we're consuming media, digital media in that perspective. And also to let everyone know a little bit what it's like to be a digital publisher, what's changed and how that has growth for herself and also to help you guys as well. So with that said, Margaret, floor is all yours.
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, Ivan. Hi, everyone. I hope you can see my face. It's not too distorted like I see it right here. Okay, so let me get it started. One moment. Okay. Uh, I am speaking on behalf of one of the publishers in Hong Kong, that is New Media Group. For some of you that you are in Hong Kong, which you may have already heard of us, but for if any of you is not from Hong Kong, let me give you a brief introduction. We as a publisher, originally we are a print publisher, focusing on magazines and like especially lifestyle contents. In the last 6 to 7 years, we have been very successfully to really transform our business to become a really digital content providers. So that's why Alvina and Ivan has me today to go over the digital transformation, how we take it through, and what does it take to work in especially on a data and content publisher side of business nowadays. So I'm going to cover 4 areas. First of all is how the media and content is consumed now. And then I will share with you some tips on how do we create digital content. And as a digital publisher, we are more than just a content creator. So I will also give you a glimpse of what we also do as well. Some of it is sort of like a total solutions digital agency or digital partners to our partners. And then lastly is the qualities in order to succeed, in order to work in the media publishers, what kind of qualities that we will look for, and let's see if you have those qualities. So first of all, let me first start with how digital consumption is being used nowadays. Over the past, I would say last decade, I see 3 different levels of digital transformation or disruption of content consumptions over the years. To name a few, the level 1, the starting level, is the technical, or we call the technology shift. Back in the older days, when you are still a child, I'm sure that when we consume multimedia content, the first place we go to is switch on the TV and see what kind of programs and interesting things that are happening. And it is totally controlled by the TV station schedules. But nowadays, when we look for multimedia content, the first place likely we will go to is log into YouTube, type whatever we want to look at or we are interested, and then we can pull all the data and libraries and of content on demand. So it's a technical or technology shift in terms of consumption. Another level of technical shift is the value and the business model shift. Usually, or back in the 1990s, when we talk about business models, it is very confined to a supplier or demand model. So, for example, take a taxi as an example, transportations. When you hire a taxi, flag a taxi, the taxi driver is the supplier and you are the consumer. But nowadays, the model has shifted. Take Grab, Uber, and all other even Airbnb as an example. The supplier no longer may be it a physical or merchant or business entities. You and I can both be part of the merchants as the supplier to give values, to drive business value to the model. In terms of media consumption, Facebook is the perfect example. Facebook is not just a platform, a media platform for you to consume content. You, as a user, you are a contributor to the content. In fact, Facebook, they do not produce any content at all. all the content you consume on Facebook is produced by us, by you, by all of our friends, all our peers. So it's that is what I mean on the second level in terms of the content, in terms of the media consumption shift. The third level is the philosophical change. Back in the days when we consume content, we look for enhancing our knowledge. We look to learn something. But now when we consume media, we want to get anything that we can use to show off and get others to follow us. So it's a very difficult, a very different philosophical change versus the past days where content is consumed. Well, if you are studying marketing, I'm sure you have learned from your textbook or the courses that in terms of reaching the consumer during marketing, it's all about reaching consumer, deliver the right message at the right time. That is the fundamentals of advertising. However, nowadays, our digital consumers, they do not just look for consuming a product or liking a brand. They want to be a part of it. They are the advocates for your brands, for your campaign, for your business value. So in terms of the shift in terms of the media consumption and also the user or media behavior, it's very different for now to be a digital content creator. Take for an example, this may be a little bit old, but every time when Hong Kong is hit by typhoon, especially if there is any suspension in our transportation network the next day, I will see some kind of similar ads or artwork popping up on my Facebook or Instagram. These example is not a professional produced material. It is from one of the users. That this is a user generated content. Nowadays, you and I both can be a content provider. We are just not limited to the major publisher. So that's why for our group as a publisher group, how do we migrate from a traditional media, a publisher, to become a digital content provider nowadays? We take through several steps, and that is mainly regarding about how we change in terms of our content strategies. It is a total different methods and methodologies and processes versus when we do print media. I'm going to share you a couple of views of the strategies so that you can have a glimpse of that. So if you want to know more, you have to come and work for us, and you will learn more about it. First of all, for every piece of article or content that we do, research is the first step that we will do. We have several tools for us to help us to do the research. For example, like social listening tools, the keywords trending software, our SEO strategies, what we learn from our best practice, and also, of course, as a content creator, instinct, of course, is the most important part because it's the distinguisher between you and me and another person. The same topics, how are we going to approach it? What kind of angle that we are going to craft it, and the way to deliver it? That is all relies on part of from the hard facts and the data. That's on our instincts, of course. And when we categorize our content in a group here, we classify our contents into 3 different pillars. That is content that engages, content that inspires, and content that moves. These 3 types of contents, they serve different purposes, and that's why they have different parameters or what we call KPI in order to measure the success and failure. Take engages as an example. For the content that we aim to engage, the main purpose is to drive awareness, exposure, to start a viral trend. Well, we will use multiple channels and influencers so as to spark off the topics. For content that inspires, that's more about educational, convincing. So we will usually deploy KOLs, professional endorsements, so as to make it more educational, knowledgeable. And for content that moves, that is the content that we want that we produce in order to stimulate purchase or subscription. So what we will do is to identify the right audience, provide them an exclusive experience, and drive them to react. Let me show you an example here. That is the Weekend Weekly 新假期. We do food of the year every year. At the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, we will handpick the most popularly most voted food ingredients that is for the coming year, so that we will have different types of topics and contents that will spin around on this ingredient. Take 2019 as an example. Chicken wing is voted as the food of the year ingredients that year. So throughout the whole year of 2019, within Weekend Weekly 新假期, where how we use different types of the contents that we just mentioned to deliver the message and build up this hype regarding chicken wings. For example, like content that engage, we will have the popular search for food ingredients content, the forum discussions, YouTube cooking videos, so as to create the viral trends regarding the chicken wings, this particular ingredients. And then for inspired content, we will have worked with popular chefs in Hong Kong, fans of chicken wings in Hong Kong, and also celebrities, etc., to produce different types of content so as to educate how to make use of chicken wings, incorporate them into your recipe, and make the food of the choice of yours. And then lastly, for the content that moves, we have how different kinds of events so as to engage our audience to participate. For example, like we have lined up with one of the food court, the most popular food store food court at Kwai Chung, Kwai Guang, have throughout 3 days chicken wing festival over there, and also we have Guinness Record BBQ chicken wing events over that year as well, so as to give the audience something that is exclusive to experience. And beyond content creations, there is so much more. For example, like let me give you a couple of examples here. For example, like content, we, other than our own produced content, we also partner with our clients to produce content as well. Take a fashion outlet, IT as an example. We have been working with them on different projects and involving, for example, like KOL influencer, the styling tips, brand comparison, brand review, and kind of things like that, so that to increase the brand preference of the brand. And we also do content collaborations. Like I said, some of the time, for just our own media platform is not enough. We need to borrow all of the others' efforts in order to create a social buzz and also incorporate the trends that all of the users on the social media or on the digital platform, they are creators. We embrace UGC. So that's why we have our NMG influencer network, which we call Solar. Apart from the KOL influencers, we also have a unique pool of students, especially from universities, that they are the influencers themselves. So if you're interested, let me know. I can line you up with my colleagues and see how we can work together. And lastly, we also regarding content, we also do content distributions as well. For example, like how we optimize our exposures in terms of search engine, so that our content are easily accessible and searchable. We also distribute our content to the major popular platforms, for example, like Line, Yahoo, and MSN. We have over 150 syndicated contents with these partners every week. So you see the volume of the content that we produce are huge, and once we produce it, we want to publicize it and make it widely accessible and easily accessible. And lastly, so what are we looking for in terms of working in digital publishers? In summary, there are two different kinds of skills that ideally the candidates will possess. In terms of hard skills, they really, I will not explain too much. For example, like you have to understand or have the knowledge regarding data analytics, ideally with multimedia production experience or knowledge, use of the software and tools and things like that. But I would more focus on the soft skills to elaborate more. As a digital content creator, be it a content creator or a project leader or in-house creative, or even a project manager and account servicing to oversee the project. Storytelling is the most fundamental soft skills that we look for, because if you don't know how to tell your stories, you will face difficulties in order to selling through your concept, your idea, in convincing or persuading other people to take your point of view. So be a good storyteller. It's very important, no matter what kind of functions that you will be going to. Another key skills is have to be sensitive and intuitive. You have to sensitive to the what's happening in the market, sensitive to your audience. What are they thinking? What are the sentiment? How we can make the connection with them, make them feel that we are part of them. And lastly is, of course, results driven, because in a digital world, everything is measurable and trackable. So in terms of evaluating one's success or failure, it has to be, there will be and has to be very clear parameters, KPI, so that we can see and fairly evaluate how everyone is doing, and how we can do more improvement and take ourselves even forward. So that's my sharing for today, and I'm happy to talk more if you have more questions during our Q&A sections. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Margaret. I think that was great. I think just a few areas, of course, some things I should mention, the shifting from traditional to digital and how that changed as far as the way content is created. So content, obviously, we always need great content, but what great content is isn't so single dimension anymore. You need to think about being engaging, inspiring, and moving people. And on top of that, being in digital media isn't just about content, right? There's a lot of collaborations, partnerships, obviously I mentioned before with data and storytelling. So there's a lot of different things in between that. So really thank Margaret. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, make sure to use the chat box. Write down your questions, and we'll go through that later on in the session. So in the part of the talk, Margaret talked about influencers. So if we're talking about influencers, then here's the perfect person to talk to. So here I want to introduce Carmen. Carmen is the strategic partner manager for YouTube, for the YouTube creator and artist development sector. So it's because of people like Carmen that I don't turn on my TV anymore, and I only use YouTube basically to consume my media. So with that, we'll learn a lot more on how YouTube has changed and evolved over the years, its impact really on how we consume data and how it impacts our culture. And then also she's going to give us a little bit insight a lot on what's it like to be an influencer and how that career works. So with that said, Carmen, leave it to you.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Hello, everyone. My name is Kaman, and like Ivan has mentioned, I am the strategic partner manager at YouTube, where I actually oversee the Hong Kong and Taiwan markets. So thank you so much for having me today, and very happy to present a little bit about our platform to all of you online who might have an interest in becoming a YouTube content creator. Next slide, please. Next slide. So I think it wouldn't make sense if I start my presentation without a video, right? So let's actually play a little clip before we dive in. Thank you, Alvina.
YouTube, YouTube, YouTube.
Looking at 2020 is just chaos.
All the rest is fading. I wanna catch the light, let it burn all night, feel it in my soul.
We decided to hit the road. This is van life.
We'll take you on a journey with us.
And I won't let go.
That's Van Gogh's museum in Amsterdam.
I'm gonna upload a video to YouTube explaining how I am teaching remotely.
I'll see you tomorrow for day number 2 of kindergarten.
We are going to drive-in zoo.
We are going to do the tiny face challenge.
Guess what just came in the mail today? This is a farmer's guide to quarantine. Step 1, open the door to the tractor. Step 2, close the door to the tractor.
I do believe this too shall pass. I know it will. It will pass.
There are no easy answers. Everyone has a different struggle. Hopefully my reflections can be useful.
Our lives have been thrown upside down, and we're all finding a way of trying to make sense of it. And it's together that we can make the world the place we want it to be.
Things get low. They do always go back up. We can get through it together. I love you guys.
Cool. Right. So we all know. Next slide, please. Cool. Yeah. So after watching that video, I think it's also bringing out a message that 2020 was a very difficult year for all of us, right? And this video actually summarizes very well on some of the challenges that we saw around the globe. So I guess this is a very good introduction to what we'll be discussing later on about in terms of some of the trends that we're seeing on the YouTube platform in recent years, as well as some of the relative opportunities as well. So before we do that, let me do a very quick introduction of myself as well. Next slide, please. Yes, so when I was in college, maybe somewhat similar to some of you in this call, I did a business degree with a concentration in finance. So very conventionally, I've gone through the more common typical path of getting started in the financial industry. I've got all my financial certificates like the CFA program, etc. So very naturally, I chose to enter into the banking industry or the financial world. So up till that moment in my life, I would say my life was pretty stable and steady. And it wasn't really until a trigger point where I thought life was just too dull and I wanted some thrill in my career life. I wanted to dive into a world of creativity and one that really enabled me to help the community as a whole. And in 2018, if you remember, it was basically a year where e-commerce and online businesses were really starting to thrive. Therefore, that is a point where I made a decision to transit from the traditional banking industry to the digital marketing world at Google. This is really a fast-paced industry, I would say, with a lot of amazingly talented, creative experts. And it was such a huge difference for me as compared to the more traditional banking side of things. After 2 years focusing on the digital marketing side, I then realized my passion in creating content, like Ivan has mentioned, and really to help people or brands to tell a story of their own. Therefore, I pivoted into the YouTube world, and every single day up till now, I'm inspired and amazed by all the things that the YouTube creators I've met have done and achieved, and we hope to grow this ecosystem together in Hong Kong and within the region. Next slide, please. So I would say that is a very quick snippet about myself and like transitioning from banking to the digital space. And I know a lot of audiences today tuned in to not hear about my journey, but more interested in knowing about the YouTube ecosystem. So here we go. I would like to give you a very quick highlight of the YouTube ecosystem that we're seeing. Next slide, please. So first up, I think this is a no-brainer to everyone. We are seeing the growing or increasing importance of videos, be it sharing your own story for entertainment, for educational purposes, for instance, like learning a new skill through videos, etc. We're seeing that over 80% of our consumer internet traffic are spent on video formats. Now, in this era, I guess no one would actually argue that people literally have nearly infinite choices on different forms of entertainment. However, video still remains the world's favorite pastime, and we are seeing that this trend is continuing to grow. Next slide, please. Yeah, we take so much of the web for granted right now. It has basically become part of our life as well. So despite all these changes that we've seen in the recent years, or the disruption of the web, there are still three basic things that we think human beings still do in our times: sleeping, working, and watching videos. And we do see that this is a main point or main part of the online video is still revolved around the YouTube platform. Next slide. So when we talk about the YouTube ecosystem, it's not merely a one-way platform. Instead, I will call it an ecosystem because it consists of three very important stakeholders. One, users like yourselves, right? That is the key part to the whole ecosystem. We also have our advertisers who want to reach out to their target audiences with the medium, which is the amazing content created by our amazing content creators. Now, all three partners are super important to us in order to continue to groom our healthy ecosystem. Now, of course, for today, let's focus more on the creator side of things. And hopefully after hearing this sharing, it might give you a clearer picture of what it's like to become a YouTube content creator. Yeah. One more click, please. If we take a minute to take a look back, people's love story with videos is actually not that old. Who has actually watched this clip before? You can tell us in the chat room. But for those who haven't, this is basically the first video back in 2005 on YouTube, which is posted by Jawed Karim, our YouTube co-founder. This very first video on YouTube platform is called Me at the Zoo. So the most advanced phone at that time was Nokia 1110. I'm not even sure if you guys have ever seen a Nokia phone before. And as you can see from the video quality, it really gives you a sense or an idea of how quickly our technology has evolved throughout the past decade or so. At least right now, at this moment, it is extremely easy for us to just dig out your phone and film everything here. And even your younger kids or your grandparents might even know how to do so. So this technological advancement is also one of the drivers to the growth of YouTube. Next slide, please. Right, so on YouTube platform, our vision is actually to give everyone a voice and show them the world. So just like everyone here, we have audiences like yourselves or creators from all over the world, basically sharing what they love to their fans or supporters. And I think that is exactly the greatest thing about YouTube, which is that which is also what we believe the most in, is that it provides the best stage, which allows everyone to show themselves on the platform and to find audiences who support them the most. Yeah. So fast forward to 2020. Again, as mentioned, it was a year where everything has changed, right? It's really changing how people interact, how consumer behaviors shift, and how great of an impact it has on our daily lives as well. So in 2020, we thought that as a platform, we could do so much more for the Hong Kong community. And thus, we want to showcase more up and rising creators on our platform to really spread the message of positivity amidst the very difficult situation. I'm not going to go through all the initiatives that we've done, but please feel free to check out our Google Hong Kong YouTube channel. One initiative that I really liked was asking creators from different ethnicity backgrounds to participate in a campaign called We Live in Hong Kong. So basically, we're asking them to showcase some of the best things that they feel about Hong Kong, for instance, like local food in Tan Tang or some of the best places in Hong Kong. So what I want to really highlight here is that our creator community is starting to grow very rapidly during the past years. You might even be able to recognize some of the very familiar faces on this screen right here. Next slide, please. Yep. So with the growth of the creator segment, this has also led to a growth in the audience segment as well. We're seeing that right now we have around 22 million active users per month on YouTube, either through their phones or computers or TVs in some countries. Here you can see that the audiences we are reaching out to are mostly young demographics. So using Taiwan as an example, the demographic ranging from 18 years old to 34 years old are watching around 21 hours of YouTube every single week, which is around double of that of traditional TV program shows. Here, I would like to emphasize that we actually don't view TV as our competitor per se, because a lot of them are actually our partners as well. So for instance, behind the scene, what we're trying to do is help different TV channels to put their archive content onto YouTube so viewers can actually watch it at their own pace or time. So hopefully as audiences, we are able to watch very high quality TV shows, more of them coming on to the YouTube platform in the near future. After hearing about some of the prominent or growing figures, I have heard a lot of queries from either students or even my own friends asking me about, whether or not I think what are the opportunities on this platform if they were to view content creator as a very serious job. So I've gathered some trends we see on the platform, and in each trend, I think they are also equating to a new opportunity that I think creators can tap into. Cool. So the first trend is actually viewers are watching global cultural moments in real time. What do Elon Musk, Beyonce, and British royal family have in common? Maybe not a lot at the first glance, but one common thread that ties them together is actually back in 2018, they were part of some very popular YouTube live streams. So for instance, in February 2018, if you can see from the screen right there, the SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket launch attracted actually more than 2.3 million concurrent views on YouTube, making it one of the second most viewed popular live stream in the platform's history. Then in spring actually came again, you can see from the screen, the cultural defining moment, which is Coachella. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, but basically Beyonce's takeover of Coachella with more than 400K viewers at the same time, hitting basically highest number of viewers that we have on YouTube live streams for music festivals. Now, soon after, again in 2018, was the royal wedding, which is between Prince Harry and Meghan, which is now one of YouTube's all-time top 10 live streams as well. So you can see how live streaming is something that are of growing demand. Next slide, please. Yep, so the second trend is that we are seeing the once very clear line between celebrities and new media stars are starting to blur on YouTube. So at the same time, more and more traditional celebrities are starting to use the digital video platform to deepen their connection with fans, especially essentially becoming creators themselves as well. So Will Smith is actually a good example. Again, back in 2018, he actually did not release any single movie in that year, but he was still top of mind with thanks to the videos that he shared on YouTube. So if you were to talk about Hong Kong local celebrities, I think you'll be seeing similar trends as well. For instance, we've done a lot of YouTube music nights back then since last year, featuring different singers like Dear Jane, Jason Chan, Tan Pat Yu, Joyce Chang, Yan Yi, etc. So again, creator ecosystem is growing very, very rapidly. Next slide, please. Yeah. So the third trend is followers deciding videos. So YouTube creators are increasingly encouraging a certain level of interactivity from their audiences. This platform actually enables a two-way dialogue. So then fans might have a direct relationship or a dialogue with the creators. And these can be done through comment sections or live chats during live streams or community posts, etc. Again, this is helping the growth of the entire YouTube audience group as well. Yep, so the last but not least trend is how we are more inclined to learn different things online since last year. We've seen that the videos titled At Home have grown 6 times since March last year, and the topics actually vary quite a lot. It can be on school academic related topics, it can be home office related stuff, it can be gaming related content or fitness workout related clips. I'm sure some of you might have watched them as well since last year. And all of these are booming in popularity due to the lockdown situation or the social distancing phenomenon that we're seeing. And again, great potential right here because we could anticipate that this demand is going to grow further. Yep, so I guess this leads me to the last section of inspiring you to get started as a YouTube creator. Yeah, we've done some market research and asked kids in the US aged 6 to 12 in 2019 about which brand they loved the most. And YouTube was ranked #1. And when we were asking them about what career would they want to pursue growing up, Being a YouTuber was no longer a very rare answer. Since they grew up watching YouTube, it's really exciting for us to hear that there's a very strong pipeline of the to have YouTubers to be down the road. And for you smart elites in this call, this is something that you could consider about as well, given the huge growth potential. Now, down to a more realistic note, obviously creators don't do it for free. And I'm sure a lot of you guys would have heard about the huge paychecks that some of the popular content creators are receiving by creating amazing content. So I'd just like to give you a very quick glance on some of the potential revenue sources on our platform. The main revenue stream on YouTube would be the ads revenue share. This is still one of the biggest percentage split for creators nowadays. Now, beyond ads revenue, we also have different sources, such as the YouTube Premium, which is the monthly subscription service, which I think a lot of us might have subscribed to as well. We have donations or paid digital goods, which are super chats, super stickers that you can receive during a live stream session. We also have channel memberships, so you can support your favorite creators by joining their paid membership. And last but not least, it will be the sponsored content that creators work very closely with different brands on to gain more sources of revenue. I know I don't have time to deep dive into every single one of it, so I'm going to give you this instead. So after this presentation, if you're interested in knowing more, please feel free to leverage our online resources hub. You can basically just Google YouTube Creator Academy, and there are tons of very useful information on it to get you started. Another very good resource hub that you can check out is our Google in Hong Kong YouTube channel, where this year we're going to interview a lot of different creators or celebrities to ask them to share about their experiences in becoming a content creators and what are some of the tips and tricks that they can share with the general public. So please stay tuned to that as well. Yep, so last slide of my presentation, I would just like to reiterate the message of it might be one of the best timings right now to start becoming a YouTube creator, to share your stories to all of us. And with that, I'm really excited and looking forward to seeing some of the next generation new stars, creators booming in our community. Thank you, and let us know if you have any questions. We're happy to have a bit of chit chat with you guys. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Carmen, for your talk. I think it was really great. Just looking at that video, the first YouTube video that was launched to what it is now, really is quite amazing how that's changed, how each of us consume media, like I was said many times. And on top, I think a few things I took away from both the speakers is that they mentioned telling a story. And I think being in digital media and on the media side, I think that's really a part of what we're doing. We're telling a story. We're telling, communicating between the creator and the consumer. It's no longer really about a one-way communication. It's really about whether Margaret's saying understanding the trends, right? And taking those trends and evolving the content. Or when you look at YouTube, it's really about creators understanding what their followers want and evolving their content with that as well. And that only can be done by being in digital, because you have that data to recognize those trends and to evolve your content and to make it applicable to the user base that you have. So I really thank the both of you for that. I think there's a lot of really great connections and synergy between both media sides, as far as New Media Group and YouTube, even those different platforms and different ways that we might digest the media itself. There's a lot of synergy between the two. So right here, again, want to thank the two speakers. At the same time, I want to open up the floor to the participants here. Please take this opportunity to type in your questions. There's not a lot of times when you have speakers such as Margaret and Carmen along. Feel free to ask any questions, and I'm sure they'll be happy to answer for you. So let's take a little bit of time while you are doing that. And please don't be shy. Ask anything. in topic. So we have one question here. So I'm sure Carmen, I don't know, putting you on the spot here. So Wilson is asking here, who is the number one YouTuber in Hong Kong? I want to say it might be, maybe it's Ronald. Who knows? Well, he's been really pushing up high. I'm not sure. That's my guess.
I think this is also another question I would like to ask. Like, in terms of what are the metrics that you're looking at when you say it's number one? Are you looking at their subscriber numbers, or are you looking at their how much they earn, or you know, like there's different metrics to this. And the second definition, or the second thing that you might want to take a look is like in Hong Kong. What does it mean in Hong Kong? Like, there's a lot of Hong Kong creators, as in like they speak Cantonese, but there's also a lot of creators that don't speak Cantonese but have their channels in Hong Kong. So I think this is a very difficult question to answer. But basically, I would just say, like, go to our Google in Hong Kong YouTube channel. We are often interviewing some of the top-notch creators in Hong Kong. So I would say those. Yeah, I'm not going to pinpoint anyone here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember there are resources out there that show, you know, the ones with the top subscribers or top views and sort. So I'm sure if you use the search engine, you'll be able to find that as well. And then we have another question here. I think we can open that to the both sides, but I think especially for this case, maybe Carmen will go through first. Annie asked here, how can we get an internship opportunity at YouTube? And at the same time, I'll flip that answer as well to Margaret as well. So maybe Carmen, you can take that first.
Sure thing. So I am going to share a link in the chat room as well. So this is actually not only confined to YouTube, but basically there's also a lot of opportunities within Google as well. So I just pasted a link there. You can go visit it and see if there's any openings for internships or even full-time jobs if you guys are interested after graduation. So I'll say, yeah, refer to that link.
Great. And Margaret, I think just, you know, for the same question, if we wanted to get started in a company like New Media Group, how would they maybe get started as far as an
Well, I'm going to post another link that is our career bulletin board, so that you will see what are the openings that we have right now. And every year we have a trainee program that we will recruit the fresh graduates and to join our company, so that they will have the experience to work in various kind of job nature within our companies as offering or working on, and then to identify the stars of the interns that we may offer them a permanent positions here. So in terms of area that will cover both from the content development to analytics to client engagement, project management. So it's a really wide scope of work scope. But unfortunately, we just closed our recruitment for the trainee for 2021. So, but no, don't be upset. Just keep looking at our bulletin board. We have all those different kinds of positions and also internships that is opening for the year. And yeah, feel free to let us know, or even just submit your resume and do a pitching for us. We may find something that is relevant that can be workable for both of us.
Great. All right, so the questions are rolling in, and Alvina mentioned again, also want to stress, if you're looking for internship apprenticeship programs, obviously come with us at IAB. There's lots of opportunities there as well. As you can tell just from both speakers, great promoters and getting talent such as yourselves to join in. And even for what Margaret said, even though they might not have openings at this moment, but anytime you show proactivity and to reach out to these employers, sometimes you never know. You get moved by proactivity. So always just take that step as well. We have a few questions here, and again, this one I'll also bring out to the both of you. Margaret, you can start first. A member asked, is having a LinkedIn profile important in this field? What do you think, Margaret?
I would not say it is a critical one, but at least it gives me an impressions or overview what what is your passion is, what is your strength. From the way you write up your profile, I can have a glimpse that the kind of personality or the how you approach things. So it can help us as an employer to decide whether, in terms of cultural wise, whether you fit in our organizations or the post or not. But at the end of the day, like I mentioned in my presentations a couple of minutes ago, what we look for, or the most fundamental or critical one that we look for, are those soft skills. For example, like storytelling. Are you a sensitive or interactive person? Are you result driven? These kind of attitudes, they are more important when we look for, or how do we rate or score a candidate.
Great. And Carmen, what do you think?
Yes, I echo with what Margaret has mentioned just now. I think, again, I think one of the taglines for today's presentation is also to tell a story, right? How do you tell your story? And this time around, you're telling a story about yourself. You are basically the main character on stage. So I would say like LinkedIn profile definitely gives you that opportunity. And second of all, I think LinkedIn is also a very good platform, speaking from personal experience, to link you up with various different opportunities, be it job opportunities or other events opportunities. There's just a lot of people up there, and it's a great way to connect with people, either within the industry or outside of the industry. So I personally would say this is a very good platform that I often leverage on. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, if I may, I want to add on a little bit as well. I think to kind of signal that LinkedIn is part of it, building your profile, having employers understand who you are, it's always great. Making sure you take initiative is great. I think more importantly, or even further to that, is I'm sure if I were a university student and I show Margaret or Carmen maybe posts that I've done in the past, maybe I started my own blog, or I did like a little social group about shoes or something, or if I were to create videos about myself, just to show on my LinkedIn profile. Taking initiatives and doing these things on these platforms is going to take you a long way as far as getting your foot in the door. Echoing like what yesterday some speakers said about, you don't know how to use advertising, don't know how to do data, hey, go advertise yourself. Kind of same thing, but with content creating, what's even greater is you're not spending any money. Well, you could, but you could also spend none and still do it. So really take that step and find out for yourself as well. And we keep having more questions here. So we have one, let's see here, from Chris, that's asking, I think this opens up really to the both of you as well, as far as, content continues to change, right? So with the creator landscape changing, with the rise of things like Snapchat or even Clubhouse, how does that change the way creators should think, or even how would that change maybe companies such as yourselves as far as how you think about media? Maybe Carmen, you can go first.
Okay, sure thing. Yes, thank you for that question. I think definitely we're seeing that creator landscape has changed a lot, and you can see that it's very fast paced. So like you see, like the rise of Clubhouse since last year was actually very, very fast, and in a very short period of time, it accumulated a lot of people. And then we are seeing maybe like a lot of different formats as well, like Clubhouse, it's more on the audio side. We're seeing the rise of podcasts. We're seeing longer forms of videos like Netflix, and then we're seeing shorter forms of videos like TikTok, etc. So what I'm just trying to say is that I think as a whole, as the whole landscape, it's growing exponentially. And I would say that in this era, we're very lucky to be exposed to different opportunities. You can be a creator in any single platform that I've mentioned just now. Maybe not Netflix, but the other ones. So I think it's really a good era to explore the opportunities. And I think this boils down to the skill sets that maybe Margaret has also mentioned just now in terms of the soft skill set and the hard skill set. I think these are becoming more and more important as compared to some of the more traditional things that we learn at school. That is just my personal view. So there's also a lot of resources online, like the ones that I've mentioned just now, or even like on Coursera or Udemy. These are some of the platforms that I would even turn to myself as well, because things are changing so rapidly. And the other thing that I want to also emphasize is that we don't see each other as threats or competitors. A lot of them are, again, we are partnering up with each other to make the ecosystem even stronger. So yeah, that's the two things on my mind.
And Margaret, do you have anything to add on to that?
Well, as a digital publisher, in fact, we are so thrilled and happy that seeing that all these Clubhouse, Louie, Snapchat, TikTok, all these kind of platforms that are becoming more popular and more arising, because the more the platform, the more different kinds of channels for you to create content that suit to that particular platform, and that is really fit into the appetite of those users on that platform. Because, well, let's be honest, and it's the situation nowadays. There's no more one size fits all. For even a single piece of content, a single piece of the same information, when we do it on different platforms, we take a different spin on it so that it will appeal to that particular group of audience. So we are happy to and really excited to see that all these kind of new platforms that coming up, and they create so much creation opportunities and testing, experimenting channels for us to how to take our content further. For example, take one of the example like Clubhouse. We have been exploring the audio content for quite some time here, but in terms of the distributions or the format or the kind of or how are we going to distribute them or create them, there have been so many limitations or that may not fit perfectly as well. When we see that Clubhouse is arising in the past couple of months, we immediately take initiative and see what we can do and do some experiments over there, and which we learned quite a lot over the last couple of months. And yeah, so the more the better. As a creator, the more platform the better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to kind of summarize what the two have said is, it's not really about, at the end of the day, competition is great, but it's also not really about direct competition. More about how evolution and additions make you evolve yourselves and to change. Like just sentiment from both sides, from new media being from a traditional landscape, moving towards a digital, or for YouTube from a content where you have videos talking about a zoo to now we're having live streams and support and everything like that. I think it just these platforms help all other platforms to evolve and to add, and at the end of the day is to really serve the consumer. So I think that helps also to answer that part. So I think, Alvina, if we can take the last one here, I think this is a good one here that we can take. It is definitely a big question for all of us. What's more tough in a career, balancing conflict between agencies or balancing between agency and client? So I think I'll take that a little bit further, or a little bit. Let's see. Hopefully, I can take what Derek is thinking is basically like as a content creator, how do I maybe balance between possibly my audience and also like Carmen you said before, I might have ad revenue, I might have things like that. Or same thing with new media, right? I want to create content that people like, but I also need to serve people like me who come with you and want to buy some ads. How is there a conflict? How do you balance between that? This is a really tough question, I would say. Anyone want to take that?
Let me go. Yeah, let me share my view first. Yes, it's a balancing act every day. especially in my role. I am the business side of people, so that my day-to-day contact most of the time is my partners, the agencies, the clients, and but at the end of the day, being a content creator, what we treasure the most is our audience, our readers, those who consume and trust our brands, and follow us and give us credentials and positive feedbacks and things like that. So at the end of the day, if briefs come in that is we don't think they will be favorable or relevant to our consumers, to our audience, we usually and always take it back with the clients or our partner to discuss how we can fine tune, readjust, so as to make it a win-win or even win-win-win situations for all of the parties. Because there must be some wiggle room so that to make it work. If one of the clients or partner that is so strong-minded that it has to be my way or no way, and if that really doesn't fit with our brand or corporate philosophy, then yeah, sorry, we probably may not work that have that relationship or program work out, because at the end of the day, we always treasures our audience first. Yeah.
Okay, and I know Carmen, this is probably tough for you, so I think we'll move further because I understand. So I think that's all the questions we have for today. So again, I really want to thank everyone for joining today. And Alvina, I know you want to talk about this apprentice program. You want to go ahead?
Yes. So the last one on the list is that please apply for the IAB Hong Kong Apprentice Program, which is designed perfectly for you to get a jump start at the digital marketing industry with work experience, online sharing, online courses. We're actually offering digital fundamental, especially beneficial for those who are coming from a non-business background to get the basic start first. And we all have office visit. You talk about content creation. Let's go visit Phil TV, one of the most popular content creator in Hong Kong. Well, of course, maybe after YouTube and new media. Yeah, and you also get a certificate and reference letter. And the list of employers here are very diversified. So we have PR agencies, creative agencies, 譚仔, programmatic agencies, and also we have edtech and fintech, and also IAB Hong Kong. Come and try hosting webinars and doing lots of projects and work with a list of the most interesting digital companies in the world. So the due date is 10th of May, but please apply early as we will start interview as soon as possible. So the link is below. Bit.ly at IAB Hong Kong Apprentice. So so thank you everyone for having today. It's a great honor to have Margaret, Kaman to be our sharing speakers, which I think everyone will get a better understanding, including myself. Now I know a lot more about how to be a YouTuber, so maybe I'll start my own channel soon. And also thank you so much for our education committee, Ivan Lun, to do the moderation today. So so please give everyone a round of applause. Yay! And we will have the recordings up on our YouTube channel, IAB's YouTube channel, and very soon. For tomorrow, we will be having two brands. We will have Head of Birdie Kevin Huang, and also the Senior Digital Marketing Manager Lennon from Cigna, the insurance company. And someone have asked about the question on LinkedIn, and we will have that on Friday, which Chapman Ho from LinkedIn will share how to build your good digital marketers LinkedIn profile, and also the CV and video interview, which we will have Ryan Wong from CP Jobs to come for sharing. So please join us again tomorrow and Friday 5 to 6 p.m. So that's all for now. So bye bye.